Season 13. Man. Hi, my name is Tyrell Childress, and I am the host of Nerd Central, your one-stop shop for all things nerd. And well, it's now our finale. We have finally gone through and we're on our 10th episode, and it has been a crazy ride. We've given you everything from rumors to the recent celebrity news, all the way to secret Easter eggs in films that you might not know. On top of that, we've given you things from fun facts relating to Star Wars, all the way to fun facts relating to movies and the reviews that come with them. And now it's over. Let's go ahead and meet some of the crew. Kind of get a feel for them, and kind of actually get to know them outside of their actual packs before we actually get a brief highlight into what they're actually doing. Over here first, I have one of my favorite members of Nerd Central, Brianna Reeve. How are you doing, Brianna?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Tyrell?
Absolutely fantastic.
That's great.
I guess my first question for you is, what has been your favorite moment this season?
Ooh, there's a lot of them, but I would definitely have to say, like, when we're filming, like, the basic of Nerd Central, just being here with everybody, laughing. It kind of takes the stress away from, like, actual school.
I was gonna go. I really got Caleb with that really funny joke.
What made you want to be a part of Nerd Central?
So I did broadcasting in high school and did sports and everything, and then I grew up, I love celebrity gossip, wanted to do it, and my friend Libby and I both loved gossiping about, like, you know, what's Taylor Swift doing now? What's, you know.
What has been the main inspiration for your pack?
So my main inspiration, I grew up watching Entertainment Tonight, and that's, you know, it's all about celebrity gossip, and then they do interviews, and I've always wanted to be one of those people on there, and that's kind of like where the inspiration came, and I was like, but I want a twist to my own show, and then that's how Rumor Has It was born.
Let's go ahead and see the final episode of Rumor Has It.
It's time to put all the rumors aside. It hurts me to say that this is the last time I'm hosting Rumor Has It, but don't you fret, because we have an amazing show for y'all. So for the last time, you are watching Rumor Has It. On this week's episode, we will be going over some of my favorite rumors that we have spilled this semester. Starting us off was the tribute to Lynn Goodman. This show holds a special place in my heart because I grew up watching Dancing with the Stars with my family. The show and Lynn have always brought me laughter, and I loved being able to learn about the art of dance through Lynn. During the tribute episode, you got to hear stories about Lynn throughout the years from the dancers and get an inside scoop of his life behind the scenes. I was excited to hear that the dancers on the show were dancing a tribute to Lynn with his favorite dance, the waltz. Next up, we have the Zach Bryan drama. This was our first episode of the semester and was one of my personal favorites because of all the gossip going around about Zach. He had just released his self-track album, then announced he was going on another tour called The Quittin' Time, and to top it all off, there was footage of him getting arrested all over social media. Zach's arrest blew up on social media to the point that people were making merchandise with his mugshot on it. To me, it was crazy to see how much one video on the internet can blow up and the responses from his fans. Even his girlfriend Brianna Chicken Fry joined in on the fun by posting a TikTok of her singing to Britney Spears' song, Criminal. Alright, the moment we have all been waiting for. The number one rumor goes to Miss Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. This episode would have to be one of my favorite ones since starting Rumor Has It. I have been a Swiftie and a Chiefs fan my whole life, and to be able to see the two worlds collide have been totally crazy. There got to be so much tea to cover that we had to make a part 2 episode featuring Jason Holland. Having Jason on the show is always a joy, especially getting to hear his experience at the Eras Tour and hearing his thoughts about the dating rumors of Taylor and Travis. This rumor has to be the longest one that is still going to this day, and I couldn't be more excited for Taylor and Travis. That is all the time that we have for this highlight episode. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who has helped make this show happen, and a special thanks to my previous co-host Libby. We started this show because we were just two girls who love to gossip, and it has been one of my favorite college experiences being a part of KNWT. Be sure to subscribe to KNWT TV Channel 8 to see all previous episodes of Rumor Has It on Nerd Central. So for the last time signing off, I am your host, Brianna Reeve, and this is Rumor Has It.
Thank you so much, Brianna, for the final episode of Rumor Has It. But up next, we have my least favorite member of Nerd Central, Olivia Williams. How are you doing today, Olivia?
I'm doing great.
So we have been on Nerd Central as well for 2 semesters now, right, together. I guess, what has been your favorite part of this season specifically?
I think my favorite part is just yelling at you and just causing beef for no reason.
Okay, and little boy. Recording. And I guess, what has been your main inspiration for Anime Stitch?
My main inspiration is something that I talked about in my pack, which you'll see, is I really love anime, and I really loved watching videos of people talking about animes, talking about, their favorite moments of each battle or each moment, which caused me to want to watch those animes. So I wanted to be like them. I wanted to talk about animes and make other people interested into those animes.
And I'm sure you could say that you have greatly improved this semester in showing that, and has absolutely showed.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Olivia Williams. You are welcome. Up next, we have the final episode of Anime Stitch.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the final episode of Anime Stitch. For this episode, we are going back and talking about my favorite animes and why I like them. So, for the last time, let's get started. The first one I wanted to talk about is Black Butler. Now, I've talked about Black Butler before, and how it has a special place in my heart because it's the first anime I ever watched. Remember when I said that there was a story for another day? Well, today's the day. I really love how silly and serious Black Butler can be. One moment, it's very silly, there's characters running around, but then the next, they're getting serious and trying to save the day. And to that just drew me in so much just seeing those 2 moments. And on top of that, I really do like how Black Butler is written, when it's not deviating from the manga, of course. And just like My Hero Academia, I've met the voice actor of Sebastian, and I've collected mangas and Funko Pops. And even though this anime wasn't something that I should have watched when I was younger, I am so glad that I did, because without it, I wouldn't be here talking about animes, which I really do enjoy. The last one I want to talk about is Chainsaw Man, and it has a completely different reason on why I put this in this list today than Black Butler. And it's actually a personal reason, and it's because Chainsaw Man was the first anime I ever watched with someone else, which is crazy considering how many animes I've watched. But Chainsaw Man was the first one that I sat down with one of my friends and watched, because growing up, I never really had friends that really liked animes like I did. So because of that, I really do like Chainsaw Man, because I just enjoyed yelling ideas at my friend, screaming at crazy moments together and plot twists, and it just honestly made the anime way more enjoyable. And that's why I decided to do Anime Stitch, because I wanted to be the reason for someone to watch animes, to show them the silly parts and the serious parts of animes, and show them that there's more than one way to enjoy the content by reading mangas or doing both. And so I have a reason to talk about my love for animes without accidentally talking somebody's ear off. So thank you guys so much for watching Anime Stitch. I hope you enjoyed this season as much as I did, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye!
Thank you so much, Olivia, for all the memories with Anime Stitch. When we come back from break, we'll meet a few more of the Nerd Central crew.
KZLX is a student-run radio station where Northwest students have complete freedom during their shifts. KZLX also hosts many radio shows such as Nerdmageddon, Revive, Day-to-Day Picks, and more. To learn more, visit kzlxfm.com.
The news that matters most is the news that hits close to home. Maryville or Bearcat news?
Whatever the story, we're there for you.
It could be about you, school, or your safety. Whatever it is, we got you covered.
You need to know what's going on in the Northwest Maryville community, and this is a place to find it all out.
This is our home too, and we're in this together.
We are Channel 8 News, covering for you.
And we're back. Up next, I have another one of my favorite members of Nerd Central, Caden Patrick. Caden, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, Caden. Doing great. So I guess, what has been your favorite moment of the season?
My favorite moments is just when we're filming in general, just setting up and going through the runs, even if it's a longer shoot. It's really fun because we just mess around.
What made you want to be a part of Nerd Central?
So I really like movies and film and then talking about them, like Easter eggs and everything. If you ever watch movies with me, I'm always pointing out little things in the background and just facts and stuff like that. So I really wanted to make a show like that.
Let's go ahead and turn now to the final episode of Film Finds.
Hello everyone, my name is Caden Patrick and welcome back to Film Finds. I'll be reviewing films and their Easter eggs as well as details you may have missed. Today's episode will be a bit different because this is a highlights episode. I want to take time to go over some of my favorite episodes from the season and look back at some of the things I've learned this semester. This is my first semester doing anything like this, and it's really helped me learn and grow as a person. As a freshman, I started out as a creative writing major, then moved to social media content strategy, but didn't enjoy that one either. I ended up joining Nerd Central to try and figure out if production was something I wanted to do. By the time I reached the Scott Pilgrim pack, I was sure I wanted to switch to broadcast and video production as my major. Making all of my packs has been fun, but the pack I'm most proud of editing-wise is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World for several reasons. I honestly didn't know a whole lot about editing in Premiere Pro or Audition, so the first few episodes were a lot of trial and error. The week leading up to the Scott Pilgrim episode, I spent a lot of time in the studio asking my producer, Joe, how to improve my show. After the episode was released, I ended up having various people come up to me and tell me that they really enjoyed the pack, and it made me really proud of myself and the work I had done. I also ended up winning MVP that week, and now have the pin on my backpack. Another pack I am proud of is my Candyman pack because of the script. I focused heavily on improving my script writing that week, and I struggled with that script in particular because all of the complex issues I wanted to cover within 3 minutes. I was even editing the script in the studio as I was recording. Trying to condense everything I wanted to say into 3 minutes was a real challenge for each pack, and sometimes I even struggled with meeting the 3-minute mark. Each week was different, but Candyman taught me how to better summarize what I wanted to say instead of cramming everything into a long script. I also really enjoyed making my Everything Everywhere All at Once pack. I think that pack has my best editing and script. I had so much content I could put into that script, I had to pick and choose what facts I did want to include and did have to let go some of my favorites. Everything Everywhere All at Once is my favorite pack I've made this season, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. It's a strange experience to walk into Wells to get to class and see an episode you made playing on the TVs around the building. But it's also a rewarding experience. It makes me feel proud of myself and all of the work I've done. Sometimes I would even walk into the building and hear people discussing and sharing their own opinions on the movie I had talked about that week because it had been playing on the TV. My Fantastic Mr. Fox pack seemed to cause a lot of conversation in particular. Many people adore the movie like I do, but I also learned the animation style unsettles many. Well, a little fun fact for you. It took around 3 years to get Fantastic Mr. Fox filmed because of the stop-motion animation. It would take a full day to get anywhere between 5 and 30 seconds of the 87-minute movie filmed. One thing I for sure want to work on for next season is getting some graphics made to make the show even better. I really enjoyed making each and every episode, and I hope you enjoyed watching each and every episode. Unfortunately, that's all I have for this episode of Film Finds, and I hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name is Caden Patrick, and I hope to see you again next season.
Thank you so much, Caden, for the final episode of Film Finds. Up next, we have another new member of Nerd Central, one of my favorite members as well, Caleb McAfee. How you doing today, Caleb?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So what was your favorite part of Nerd Central this season?
Honestly, just shooting every week and the friends that I've made. It's been a pretty great experience.
So what has been one of your main inspirations for your pack?
Honestly, probably the channel Chris Stuckman has on YouTube. Yeah, he just, he reviews movies and thought I could do the same, so I did.
Let's go ahead and turn now to the final episode of Real Recommendations.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Real Recommendations, where we've had an incredible season exploring some cinematic gems. Today, join me as we wrap up this season with a quick look back at the films that we've covered. We kicked things off with the intense thriller Nightcrawler, directed by Dan Gilroy and released in 2014. Next, we delved into the action-packed world of The Boondock Saints, a cult classic directed by Troy Duffy, released in 1999. The Fighter, directed by David O. Russell, took us through a gritty reality of boxing, while Lawless, a Prohibition-era chaos film directed by John Hillcoat, delivered a wild ride. Terrifier brought the horror, directed by Damien Leone, and we couldn't resist poking fun at superhero tropes with Superhero Movie. Now let's tip our hats to some honorable mentions that we didn't have time to get to this season. The first honorable mention goes to Sleepers, a powerful drama directed by Barry Levinson. Sleepers explores friendship, betrayal, and justice within the backdrop of a juvenile detention center. Released in 1996, it's a must-watch for its gripping narrative and stellar performances.
What do you say, Mike? It's payback time.
My next recommendation is a cult classic and a personal favorite of mine, The Lost Boys, directed by Joel Schumacher. The Lost Boys combines horror and humor, offering a unique twist on the vampire genre. Released in 1987, it remains an unforgettable experience. My next recommendation is a dark comedy directed by Ben Fong, and it serves up a satirical take on the culinary world, blending humor and suspense. Released in 2016, The Menu is a feast of unexpected twists and culinary chaos. I also recommend you step into the world of 80s tech paranoia with this classic directed by John Badham. War Games explores the consequences of hacking and artificial intelligence, offering a thought-provoking journey. Released in 1983, it's a timeless exploration of technology's impact. Lastly, I highly recommend Good Time. Join Robert Pattinson on a relentless night of chaos in this gritty crime thriller directed by Josh and Benny Safdie. The tension never lets up, making it a roller coaster of a film that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Released in 2017, this is a modern masterpiece in the crime genre. As we bid farewell to this season of Real Recommendations, I want to thank you for joining me on a cinematic journey. Don't forget to check out my past reviews and stay tuned for more movie magic in the future. Until next time, happy watching.
Thank you so much, Caleb, for the final episode of Real Recommendations. Up next, we'll have the last bit of our Nerd Central crew right after this break.
Kirsten, what are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing here? Making TikToks? And it's not about what I do. It's about what we do here. So we start with storyboarding the content we want to create for our clients. It could be anyone from small businesses, nonprofits, and organizations both on campus and in the Maryville community. We write, we film, we edit, we create, and then we wait. So if you're someone who thinks you need us, we are KNWT Creative Services.
Hey guys, make sure to check out the Gen 2 highlight episode where we go over all the best moments from this past season.
You don't want to miss it. Also, make sure to subscribe to the KNWT YouTube page when the new season starts next year.
And we're back. Right now, I have another new member of the Nerd Central crew, Joe Huber here, the host of Star Wars Lore. How you doing today, Joe?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So I guess, what was your favorite part of the Nerd Central season?
I like every time I get to edit my pack, doing the research on it, and rewatching like movies and going back to books that I haven't read in so long to kind of just piece together this puzzle to make into a pack is pretty cool, and I like doing it. It's like kind of nostalgic in a way. So.
I guess, what has been the main inspiration for Star Wars lore?
Ever since I was a little kid, I always was into Star Wars just because my dad loved Star Wars. My grandpa loved Star Wars. We're all Joes, so of course I had to love Star Wars. And so they showed Star Wars all the time when I was just, hanging around. They would be having it played on the TV or whatever. And then eventually as I got older and kind of understood what's behind it and really got into the lore behind it, it's kind of what inspired me, so yeah.
An entire family of Joes watching Star Wars.
I know, it's crazy.
That is crazy. That is. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for being a part of Nerd Central.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and turn now to Joe's pack with the final episode of Star Wars lore.
My name is Joe Huber, back with another episode of Star Wars Lore. Today is our last episode of this season, and because of that, I will be wrapping up everything I've discussed over the past 9 episodes and really dive deep into what has worked and what hasn't. Ever since a little kid, Star Wars has been my thing. From books, comic books, TV shows, and movies. I like to say I've seen it all. So, with that stated, I was super excited to find out that I could actually create content that I enjoy. Throughout this experience, I've really enjoyed piecing together these projects and getting to watch my work here on YouTube. My first 3 episodes describe different lists of things in Star Wars. From lightsabers, stormtroopers, and Darth Vader's suit, I really wanted to break down these things starting out. My goal was to describe different things about Star Wars that people wouldn't just happen to know by watching a Star Wars film or episode. I quickly learned, however, that in order to do this, I couldn't make a list of things or people every episode. I had to switch it up and try something new. Besides episodes 5 and 9, every episode from 3 on was a little bit of a different layout when it came to script writing. Instead of putting my information in a list format, I decided to change it and make it more of a story. In doing so, I really learned to enjoy describing things in Star Wars that way. Episode 5 was a little shot in the dark that, in my opinion, turned out extremely well. I decided it was going to discuss an event in Star Wars from a certain perspective instead of describing a person or clan or object. I incorporated different books to really broaden the perspective of Obi-Wan in ways by which you could really see what he was thinking and better understand why the scene happened the way it did. In episode 9, I discussed Anakin's turn to the dark side because I got asked by my producer Joe Jinx to describe a point in the Star Wars timeline that really changed the outcome of different scenarios and explain exactly how it happened. This is where I truly felt a challenge. I had to web through different parts of movies and books to fully describe a certain emotion that Anakin was feeling, and also to show where this emotion had led him. However, when I ended up working on this project, I found joy in doing so. I rewatched a good couple of Star Wars movies and read through a couple books that I remember information being in, so I could really describe the scenario, and I enjoyed that. This whole semester has taught me so much with using Adobe Suite Premiere Pro, and I am very grateful for it. Not only did I get to learn, but I got to enjoy my work, and I couldn't ask for more. Thanks for tuning in to this last episode of Star Wars Lore. I'm Joe Huber, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you so much, Joe, for another episode of Star Wars Lore. Up next, we have one of our newest members of Nerd Central, Seth McGeehan. How are you doing today, Seth?
I'm doing good. How are you, Tyrell?
I'm doing great. I guess, what was your favorite part of the Nerd Central season?
I think the behind the scenes, just getting to come in here and create every day, every Thursday, it's wonderful.
With Movie 2 of Z, what is your favorite part and or the thing that inspired you when making it?
I think the behind the scenes of productions on movies need just more recognition, more love.
They absolutely do. Let's go ahead and turn then to the final episode of Movie Tea with Z.
Hello and welcome to Movie Tea with me, your host, Z. Today, we're going to do something a little different as I decided to go over everything we've covered on Movie Tea today. So, let's start with Twilight. As we know, Twilight was inspired by a dream had by author Stephenie Meyer, and the movie was not what Stephenie Meyer was expecting at all. I think totally the movie was perfect and cozy and just very fall vibes. However, Stephenie Meyer envisioned a totally different cast. Many fans were outraged by the casting of Edward. Most people did not care about the casting of Bella, but Edward, as described in the book, is just this perfect guy. And I think that there is just nobody who could have filled those shoes better than Robert Pattinson. All in all, I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I love this movie so much. I love watching it. I love telling people about it. I love everything about this movie. The next movie we will be talking about is, of course, Coraline. And Coraline, as a movie, is just gorgeous, breathtaking. Stop motion animation is a labor of love, and it is something that people put their whole lives into. It's gorgeous, and Coraline definitely reflects that. With the set design, with all the care that went into every frame of Coraline, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. It's something that definitely, I think, needs more appreciation. I think personally that Coraline is a 10 out of 10 movie. It's cozy, it's a little creepy. It's something that definitely you could just curl up in the dark and watch and be super happy about, and also appreciate just how beautiful the film is. Our next movie that we're going to be talking about is Hellboy, and I love this movie. I love Hellboy. It will be a 10 out of 10 for me. Hellboy holds a special place in my heart. Ron Perlman especially just really gets down to the core of Hellboy's character, definitely channels the character super well in all of the movies. Of course, Doug Jones as Abe, which beautiful with all of the makeup done and the effects. Most of them are practical over CGI. It's just gorgeous, really. And I think that's perfect. And I really think that the movie just captures what I think a good action movie should be like, because there's a lot of story and it's not just gratuitous violence. That's what makes Hellboy such a perfect movie. It's so beautiful like that. Thank you for joining me, your host, Z, for Movie Tea. Have a great day and watch movies.
Thank you so much, Seth, for the final episode of Movie Tea with Z. Up next, we have the one, the only, the producer of Nerd Central, Joseph Jinx here.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Joe, I'm doing great. What made you want to be a part of Nerd Central, or in this case, I guess, produce Nerd Central?
I wanted to build a community around this show, and I think that we all have done a fantastic job of that. Whenever you're listening to everybody talking about their favorite part of Nerd Central, and most of them have said that just coming to the shoots and hanging out with everybody is just that much fun, that's their favorite part. I love that, because that's what I'm striving for. It's the community and the making friends and the getting to know people, that is what I wanted to happen, and that seeing that come to life has been amazing.
I guess, finally, Joe, with the experience you've now had, first creating packs, then producing, and for everyone else you're gonna head off to, what's some advice you could give people that might want to be in the same position that you're in now?
I think the best piece of advice that I'd be able to give would be, if you think it, do it. If you have something that you think about and you're like, man, I really want to try that, do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter if you think you're going to be terrible at it, if you think you're going to suck, if you have no idea where to even start. The best thing that you can do for yourself is just get knee deep in it and try. If you see something like that and you have the ability to try it, do it. Because you have no idea what kind of doors that will open up for you.
Joe, the community you built around Nerd Central and the skills that you've had to help everyone else are always going to be felt. Thank you so much for producing Nerd Central.
Well, it would not have been at all what it was if it was not for you guys, so thank you.
Well, that's it for the final episode of Nerd Central. Thank you guys so much for being on this crazy ride with us, and we'll end season 13 off with, I don't know what I'm saying there. If you liked the content that you're seeing, go ahead and watch the rest of our old episodes. We have 9 others that you can go back and explore and see how much our crew has grown, how much we continue to grow, and stay subscribed to KNWT to see where our crew continue to take off of. Bye.